Hey, yo, what's good? So, I was reading the latest issue of the Ring magazine. If you're not subscribed to it, I really recommend it. It's good journalism, and yeah, I know a lot of I've heard some of you guys say that it's not that good of a source because it's owned by Golden Boy, but I still think it's the best choice to go for boxing news. So I was reading anyway. Besides that promotion, that shill, right? Um, I was reading this month's issue with Canelo on the cover of the Ring magazine. They have a section called Good, Bad, and Worse. And the bad, I want to focus on the bad. It says that there's too many undefeated fighters. It says that there are 55 fighters out of 180 fighters who are ranked by the Ring who are undefeated. That is 30% who are undefeated. Specifically, what we got here is the 122-pound division, the junior featherweight division. And here we got three champions: Guillermo Rigondeaux, Leo Santa Cruz, and Carl Frampton, and another undefeated contender who owns a piece of the WBC belt but isn't really a champion is Scott Quigg. I don't know if he holds the WBC belt or the W. I must say WBC. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But he holds another fraction of the belt. But I'm gonna read all the undefeated fighters in the junior. There's 9 out of 11 fighters because there's 10, and then the champion, which is Guillermo Rigondeaux. Here we go: Guillermo Rigondeaux, Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, Scott Quigg, Genesis Servania from the Philippines, Kid Galahad, Andres Gutierrez, Ray Vargas, Albert Pagara. That is 9 undefeated fighters in the same division, ranked in the top 10 of their respective division. What does this tell us? That there's too many undefeated fighters? What does this say? That these fighters aren't fighting each other. That the best aren't fighting the best. It's to say that if you're undefeated, that right, you've beaten the best competition that has been put in front of you. But if so many fighters are undefeated, that means that of course they've beaten the best competition that have been putting in front of them, but that they aren't fighting other undefeated fighters. Because look at these four. If there is no reason for Leo Santa Cruz to be undefeated, zero reason, because he doesn't beat any of the three other fighters in this picture. He doesn't beat Carl Frampton. He doesn't beat Guillermo Rigondeaux, and he doesn't beat Scott Quigg. I'm gonna look at the welterweight division just because I'm curious, because Keith Thurman's undefeated, and yeah, Keith Thurman is the only except Floyd Mayweather. So, but we know he's fought a bunch of future Hall of Famers, and he has his whole legacy. Been fighting for 18 years. But this is the whole culture of these days, started by Floyd Mayweather, of these fighters wanting to keep their O because they use it as some kind of marketability. The moment Floyd Mayweather started to call himself the greatest of all time, he barely started calling himself TBE. Remember that. Before, he was saying that he was the greatest of all time, if you want to say that TBE is just a label. But he's saying that he's the best fighter that has ever existed because of his undefeated record. And then, of course, that's a straw man argument because you're like, dude, Rocky Marciano has a better record than you already. 49-0, you're 48-0. So if that's your argument, I'm not saying if that's your argument, then that's wrong because, dude, Rocky Marciano 49-0, Ricardo Lopez 51-0, and a draw. So there's better resumes than that, dude. There's more. There is people with more wins with zero losses as well. So that argument's it's gone. But that's the argument we want to use today. Like, I'm undefeated. Bronner was using that for I'm undefeated. I'm the best. Like no one could beat me. But back in the day, they'd say, "Hey, show me a guy." Though for those of you historians, I don't know who said this, but for those of you who are historians, you could concur that they would say this. Show me a guy who's undefeated, and I'll show you a guy who hasn't fought nobody. So if so many fighters are undefeated, yes, that means that they hadn't fought each other. The fights that people want to see is two undefeated fighters, like Ricky Hatton versus Floyd Mayweather, because somebody's O's gotta go. Those are the best matches. Like, what is gonna give? Who will give? Who will be the first one to lose their undefeated records? And those are the best fights, man. The best against the best, and it's a shame right now that the best aren't fighting the best. I'm gonna look up at the middleweight division. Please hold on the middleweight division because Gennady Golovkin. You know, there's been so much talk of Gennady Golovkin. So Gennady Golovkin, of course, he's looking for contenders. Hasn't fought the best in his division, and I said it in my last video. Has not fought the best in his division. Peter Quillin, ducking the best in his division, relinquished his title on purpose. Billy Joe Saunders barely got away with his win against Chris Eubank Jr., who that was a undefeated fighter versus undefeated fighter. Somebody's always got to go, and that was a really good fight. So I guess the moral of this video, the moral of this of that brief section on the Ring magazine was they're that the best aren't fighting the best, and I know you guys know that, and but I just wanted to point that out because that was very interesting to me. 55 undefeated fighters out of 180 possible ranks, man. And you know, as we know, there's too many champions, too many weight divisions, but we're just letting these guys slide, man. And we are quick to shun some guy just because I was talking to some guy at the Golovkin fight, and he was like, "Dude, because once Golovkin loses, it's all over." No, his career's not over after a loss. It's just a loss, dude. Muhammad Ali had a loss. You know, he lost to Joe Frazier. Sugar Ray Robinson lost. Roberto Duran lost. Sugar Ray Leonard lost. Great fighters could lose and they come back, which makes them even greater. They redeem their losses. They make this guy that beat them look foolish, like Sugar Ray Leonard to Roberto Duran. Even though I will never to my grave watch that rematch because Duran's my favorite fighter. But that is one of his best performances because he embarrassed this guy that beat him, that took his undefeated record. He embarrassed him, man. And these guys stepped up, man, and weren't afraid to lose to lose that undefeated streak. Sometimes a loss would make you better, man, because you learn from it, because you learn from your defeats. You learn from losing too. You could lose. It's part of the game. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get knocked down. And I look at a guy like Mauricio Herrera who's fighting everybody, man. Everybody putting contenders, champions. You know, guys considered to be pound for pound, like Danny Garcia after he beat Matisse, and some of you guys were getting very excited putting him on pound for pound list. And I'm like, dude, he's still an average fighter, but besides the point, this guy's taking his risk and he's taking these hard losses, um these fights that he does not deserve to lose just but because he's the kind of fighter that he is without that big of a name, he's losing. I think a loss in his last two fights to Danny Garcia, the one Mauricio Herrera and Peterson, would have made him learn, man. Maybe he needs a new trainer. I don't know. Maybe he could have learned to cut off the ring, to throw more, to just do. If some guy you say he's running, do something else, man. Adjust, move your head. You learn. It's okay to lose. It's okay to lose. It's just this era that Floyd Mayweather has introduced that a fighter can't lose because then he loses the bragging rights, the rights to pick this guy's gloves, the right to call yourself TBE. You lose that right if you're not undefeated. But it's okay. Abel Sanchez says Gennady Golovkin's not afraid to lose his own, man. He wants to fight the best in his division. He wants to be great. Do you dare to be great? Guillermo Rigondeaux, Leo Santa Cruz does not dare to be great. I'm saying that right now. He does not dare to be great. Scott Quigg, Frampton, all these undefeated guys. Wilder, Tyson Fury, Keith Thurman, Chocolatito Gonzalez. Let's get it, man. Fight each other. Become great. Give the fans great fights. That's why the sport could be so great if these guys just stop ducking each other and stop hiding behind politics. Stop hiding behind networks. Bernard Hopkins was in Showtime when he jumped the ship to HBO so he could fight Sergey Kovalev. So these fighters is no excuse who your promoter is, no excuse who what network you're involved in, your organization. It does not matter. Fans do not care. We want to see great fights. All right, everybody, what do you think about this subject? Are fighters just scared to lose to each other? Please comment your thoughts. You know I love you guys' feedback. This is why I do it, baby. And thanks for watching. Rate and subscribe. Peace.